Hello, Pratul. Hello. How are you?
Fine, fine. How are you doing?
Wonderful. Are you locked in at home?
Locked in at home very much. How about you? Where are you?
I'm in Connecticut in the U.S. But yeah, we're I think very similar. We have at least until the 20th of this month we're at home, and then we're at the first stage of opening. I think after that, but I think it'll be very slow.
Yeah, very slow. Yeah, because New York is really bad, right? And you guys are not very far from New York.
Yeah, we're about 2.5 hours, something like
Yeah.
that. So yeah, it's New York is bad. Boston's not so good. But we're sort of in the country, so it's we're a long way, I think, from. But still, we have to be careful.
Of
For
course.
sure.
I'll just use
Hello. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead, Patrul. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt.
no, I was saying that I'll mute myself till others join,
Oh, sure. Absolutely. Yeah,
and then we can introduce. Everybody can introduce themselves.
that's great. Well, it's nice to meet you. And I see
Thank
Katan on.
Yeah, hi, how are you? Well,
Good. How are you?
very
Thanks.
fine, very fine.
Good. I saw your email answer back. Are you on vacation right now?
Yes, I am. Yeah.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah, but
Very
I
nice.
thought, yeah.
Well, thank you for joining us on your. It must be unusual to have a vacation during a lockdown.
No, I had planned it, so I just, took it. I'm with my kids, so
Yeah.
there's nothing to enjoy much. I'm not going outside. I planned a visit to my village, but
Yeah. It's a very strange vacation.
yeah,
Sure.
yes.
Did you get my email? I had asked you if you wanted to do a little bit of a. We do usually a trade and investment spotlight. One of the trade and investment companies or organizations will do a 6-minute overview on their work. Is that something you want to do today?
Not today. No, not today. Maybe I'll think about it.
Maybe next
Yeah.
time. Okay.
Yeah. Today I would like to introduce myself and see who are there and what best we can do. Yeah.
That's fine. Yeah, no, totally fine. Sounds good. Looks like Jenny's on. How are you, Jenny?
Good morning. How are you? Good evening for some of
Good.
you.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. We have a few different time zones being represented for sure.
Yes.
And is it? I see kind of an abbreviated name. Is it Dak or Dak Holevi?
It's Dakhole. It's Vishal Dakhole. That's my surname, so you can pronounce it as Vishal. That's
Oh,
okay.
very very nice to meet you, Michelle. How are you?
Nice to meet you. I'm perfectly doing well. What about you?
Good. Just trying to figure out the locked at home. Yeah, it's strange after 8 weeks of this. I think, but
Nice.
we're all surviving through it. I hope.
Yes, that's it.
We'll start. We'll plan to start in about 1 minute. Looks like a bunch are still coming in, but it's great to see you all here, and we're so glad to have you. So yeah, we'll just start in just a minute. So it's so I mentioned early on I'm in Connecticut in the U.S. and it's been a very cold and wet spring. We're actually now just and this weekend we actually had snow, which was very late in the season to have snow, but it's now just starting to turn the corner. Today will probably be somewhere around 10 degrees Celsius and maybe 20 by the weekend. So we'll see. We haven't felt that bad about being inside because I think in April we had 4 days that didn't rain, so it hasn't been too bad. But how is the weather currently in Mumbai?
It's very
It's
hot.
very hot.
Yeah,
Very, very hot.
what 30, 35, 40? What is it?
35.
35. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that's so warm. And is it humid there or is it dry?
Yeah, it's
Very
very
humid.
humid.
Oh yeah.
Very humid, very humid. So you are
Yeah.
sweaty all the time. So not so good.
No, no. Well, yeah, not too bad to be locked inside.
Yeah.
Wait, do they have they set a date on when you'll have the first phase of opening?
Hopefully, we'll come to know by next week, but they're expecting it to open by 18th. 18th.
Okay.
Yeah.
Pretty similar timing as us then.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the date keeps changing.
Oh,
every-
of course.
They keep changing, yeah. So they keep changing the goalpost. So first
Yeah.
they said end of April, then they said May. Now they're going to say end of May. And I heard some speculation that it will drag on till early June.
Yeah.
So I won't be surprised if Mumbai and Pune are really impacted by the corona.
Yeah.
So let's see how
Yeah.
it goes.
Well, yeah, it's such a difficult balance between that safety and then also obviously helping people earn a living and have economic security. So I don't know the calculus there. It's a tough one. Well, let's get started. It is just a couple of minutes after the hour, normally we like to start on time, but today we wanted to give just a little bit more time for folks to show up. So welcome everybody. My name is Bill Kenny, and I'm the crazy person that started all this. So I thank you for your interest. So so you have a sense of where we're going. Obviously, we're focused on helping organizations, individuals who work in the market entry or internationalization space connect with each other. And sort of our two primary audiences are international trade and investment professionals, either working for governments or industry associations, and service providers that help market entry and internationalization companies. And so it could be the attorneys, the accountants, the consultants of a variety of types, and so on. I would ask you one thing, if you could, if you're not speaking, if you could put on mute. We do get a fair amount of background noise if you're not on mute, which you'll find in the lower left. You can just click on your mic and go on mute. So in any event, what we're going to do today, really kind of a simple agenda, is to we'll all do self-introductions. Looks like, yeah, we should have time for at least 30-second introductions. If you would, your name, your organization name or company name, a little bit, a sentence or two about what you do for international companies, and then something that you enjoy, just kind of something fun that you enjoy doing in the summer. And our friends in Mumbai are clearly already in the summer, so tell us about that. And then we'll talk about, I'll give you maybe just a little bit more on Softland Partners. One of our service providers will be doing a 6-minute spotlight, and then we'll have a section we call Needs and Opportunities. This is where we kind of shift gears from focusing on self-promotion to actually sharing needs of our clients or portfolio companies, so that obviously we can use the network to find solutions. Also, it's a good time to share opportunities that may be relevant for our clients and market entry companies as well. So, and then yeah, we'll just have some closing comments, and please treat this as much as possible like a normal meetup. Imagine that we're in person. That's certainly our goal as we go forward, as we ideally get post-corona, is to do these in person. So, you please use the chat feature, and you can chat. If you haven't used Zoom before, you can chat not only to the whole group, but you can also chat to specific individuals. So if somebody introduces themselves that sounds interesting for you or a good contact, feel free to reach out to them directly and begin a dialogue, just as you might at a networking event. So with that, we want to keep it pretty informal and have as much fun as possible. We will stop at the sort of the hour mark to allow folks to move on that want to, but we're not in a hurry. So if there are other things you want to talk about, please, like you would in a networking event, hang out and chat for as long as you like. So Pratul, you were the first one on. Do you want to start by doing your 30-second introduction? So if you would, unmute and join us.
Sure. So my name is Pratul Sangvi. I represent Talentor International in India. We are basically an executive search firm. We're into the recruitment business since the last 12 years, and I have more than almost 20 years experience in the recruitment space, especially in the executive search space. So Talentor International basically is a network of consultants with almost present in 25 countries. And so we do search work for managing director, so, director of sales, the director of customer service, mostly senior level positions which we work on. And basically we work with industries like banking, finance, FMCG, consumer durables, digital technology, logistics. So across industry we do. We have a team size of almost 20 people in Mumbai. Obviously everybody's locked down now. I've done my MBA in fact, Plymouth State, which is in New Hampshire, which is not very far from where Bill is
No,
from.
yeah, not far at all.
Yeah, and I enjoy spending time with my daughter since the 2 months. I'm really enjoying myself the summer with her. Yeah, so that's a small introduction, and maybe later I can send across a small presentation or a card or something later on.
That's wonderful. Thanks, Pratul. It was really nice to meet you.
Thanks.
And how about Vishal? Do you want to introduce yourself?
Right, yes. So this is Vishal Dakhole. I work with government entity, Irish government entity, which is called as IDA Ireland. It's basically the inward investment agency for the government of Ireland. We are a team of five. We deal with sectors like IT, pharmaceuticals, manufacturing, banking, financials, everything. So I handle basically two sectors, engineering and pharma for the IDEA Ireland. What we do is we engage with Indian companies, largely or Asian companies who have any expansion plan for Europe. We help them, finding out lending space and act as a nodal agency to get some grants or whatever it is. So it's a single point of contact. And about what I like playing golf. It's I really enjoy doing that. Unfortunately, we are all locked down, but yeah. So most of the time that I'm utilizing it's playing with my daughters, and yeah, that's it. That's what about me.
Oh, that's wonderful. Thank you so much, and glad to hear we have somebody enjoying time with their family. That's wonderful. And I may not say your name correctly. Is it Subha? Is that how you pronounce? Is it Subhao? Do you want to introduce yourself? I just unmuted you. Hello? Subhao? We can't hear you, so we'll come back to you. Let's see. How about Jenny Norris? Do you want to introduce yourself?
Hi, thanks. Nice to meet everybody. My name is Jenny Norris. I'm with a company called Meridian Finance Group, but we don't finance. What we do is we provide credit insurance. So I think the easiest way for me to describe it is to provide an example. If there is a company here in the United States that's selling in the US or even selling, let's say, to India, and their buyers are looking for credit terms, 30, 60, 90 days, what we do is we provide credit insurance to the company here in the United States so that they can safely extend terms to companies overseas. We tend to see a lot of companies that are subsidiaries of foreign companies that come here and aren't sure how to make credit decisions. And so we provide them the credit insurance to strengthen their back office. Let's see, I was supposed to be in India last year and things got canceled with flights and things like that, so I wasn't able to go, but I was going to be there with the U.S. Commercial Service because we are a partner with U.S. Commercial Service. So I was had all my tours lined up and everything. I was really excited to go, but it wasn't going to work out. And my summer project is my garden that I'm growing in my office. I live in the same state as Bill, and we had snow this weekend, but with my heat mat, I am trying to grow loofah, which is maybe something that has grown more in India, but it is not really grown here in the Northeast. So we'll see how it goes in the next month or so when I get outside. So it's nice to meet everybody.
Sounds good. Thanks, Jenny. Let's see. How about Mohit? Do you want to introduce yourself?
Sure. Hi, Bill. Thank you so much for the introduction. Hi, everyone. Good evening. My name is Mohit Baseen. I'm a partner with KPMG, and I think we are joining for the first time in this group. And I can see quite a few interesting profiles you're carrying, and happen to know some of you in through some direct or indirect channel. So, a little introduction about us. So, I'm a partner with the government practice, and we work quite extensively with the foreign players as well as with the domestic players when it comes to their investments slash expansion in Indian market or even the trade called economic development as a practice. But apart from that, KPMG, as you know, it's like a full boutique firm across the length and breadth, right from audit, tax, advisory. So we are very much active in that space. I am based out of Gurgaon. I have two of my colleagues also on the call, Adarsh and Nilesh. Both are based out of Mumbai. And others specifically work with the government of Maharashtra, which is the MIDC. And Nilesh represents our OMP office, Pradeep Udas, who heads the entire Maharashtra as a region. Thank you.
Fantastic. And what do you enjoy doing in the summer?
I think the best thing I can say is spending time with the family and
That's
you're than what we are currently going through. I know a lot of people have different views about the lockdown. So while you're working, you have a time with your family, and you're quite flexible. That's the best thing I can think of.
yeah. No, that's
Otherwise,
great.
usually in consulting world, we have a lot of travel, which is thankfully reduced to almost zero.
I understand that. We're the same. Just so you know, your Wi-Fi or your internet may be fairly weak. You're very garbled on our end, sort of in and out. So how about Adarsh? Do you want to introduce yourself?
Sure, Bill. Hi, hello everyone. Good seeing you all. I'm intentionally not switching on my video. The Wi-Fi network seems to get slow. But I work alongside Mohit as part of his extended team. I'm based out of Mumbai. I work with KPMG as part of their government advisory teams, more specifically the Economic Development Advisory team, which Mohit leads across India. And I sort of support him through the central efforts that he makes towards sort of developing this practice, not just in India, but globally. And what I try to do is spend a lot of my time or most of my time here in Bombay, sort of working through the clientele. The core client includes the industries department, which essentially looks at sort of industrial investments or more categorically FDI investments that are coming into the country. So I sort of liaison with the clients both on the government side and on the private sector side to sort of facilitate those relationships. If you ask me what I enjoy doing my free time, in a typical consulting world, you don't get much, but then for whatever time I do get, I think I really enjoy the usual activities of toothbrushing or probably reading through the newspapers. And but jokes apart, I really enjoy spending time with my wife. She's based out of Bombay as well, and sort of going on short weekend trips, possibly. A little bit of an adventure junkie, so I go a lot of camping and trekking wherever possible. So that's pretty much about me. Yes.
Fantastic. Welcome. It's great to hear that. Love the camping for sure. So how about Gaurav? Would you introduce yourself?
Sure. Good morning and good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining me. Happy to be here in this group. My name is Gaurav. I'm the managing partner and founder here at Arit Ventures. I basically spent 16 years in San Francisco, Silicon Valley, inventing technologies, working with private equity firms on the buy side, failing with many ventures, but that's a story for later, right? Startups and the world of it, right? But though just recently, my wife and I, we decided to move back to India. So I'm now based out here in Mumbai, and that's where I founded my company, Arit Ventures. What we do basically is provide strategy consulting to private equity, venture capital investment firms for whatever I am worth. based on my past experiences of failures and successes. And along with that, I help international businesses in US, UK, Europe to come expand in India. So from the basic registration permits to developing business strategies, I just helped a company based out in energy sector. They are based out in Virginia, and I just helped them execute a transaction for $8 million with Reliance refineries. So that's what we basically do, management consulting and market entry services, including the strategies. And then I also became an accidental recruiter for some of my ex-Wall Street friends that are now looking to settle up these hedge funds and algorithmic trading firms to beat out the markets here in Bombay and Delhi, and help them build a team of quantitative finance and analysts and fund managers on the buy side and all. So we have a small executive search. It goes across finance, management, equity firms, and those side. And I think that's probably about it. Yeah. Oh, by the way,
Excellent.
I graduated from University of Southern California with my master's degree in chemical engineering, and did some little bit of studies for, fortunately I passed from
Gaurav,
university.
this is supposed to be like 30 seconds, so
All right.
we'll get to know you more as we go along, is the idea.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That's awesome. And how about Ketan?
Sorry. Am I
There you
audible
are.
now? Okay.
Yes, you're perfect.
Okay. Yeah. First of all, good evening to everyone. Maybe not to you, or maybe good morning or good afternoon, whatever.
Yes.
So, firstly, I would like to thank Softland Partners for inviting me to this meetup. My name is Ketan Pednekar, and I'm a trade specialist in energy and oil and gas. I work for Scottish Development International, and I assist Scottish-based companies to trade in India. What I do is I advise them on market entry strategies and also suggest them suitable partners for specific opportunities. I'm an expert in tendering and purchase processes which are adopted in the Indian oil and gas sector. And any companies who are looking for suitable Scottish partners or opportunities in the Indian oil and gas sector can reach out to me. And in summer, I generally go to my village and I enjoy myself with my family. So that's what I do. Thank you.
Nice. Oh, that's so nice. Thank you so much. And you were right on 30 seconds. That's perfect. How about Tanaz? I think you're up.
Hello.
There you go.
Hello.
Welcome.
Hi, Bill. Thank you. Hello, everybody. I do know some colleagues who are already on this group. Basically, I head up the Irish Development Agency, which basically helps Indian companies and companies from the Indian subcontinent to set up in Ireland and operate to access the European markets. My colleague Vishal has introduced himself a while ago. He looks after the life sciences and engineering sector, while the IT sector is also of great interest to us. We have a number of Indian companies in the IT sector in Ireland as well. And I have two other colleagues that look after this sector, managing the northwest and south of India. And anyone interested in knowing more about Ireland, happy to engage with them. Thank you.
That's great. And what is it you enjoy doing in the summer, Tanaz?
Reading and traveling.
Ah, wonderful. Cool. Awesome. Well, welcome. Let's see. How about, is it Siddharth? Let's see. I'll unmute you. Let's try. Whoops. Huh. Siddharth, do you want to unmute yourself? And oh, there you go. I think you're on. Siddharth? Okay, well, let's, has anyone, I'm not sure why we can't get Siddharth, but has anyone not introduced themselves that would like to?
Hi, this is Siddharth.
Oh, there you are. Welcome. We hear you.
I just ran out of the data on my cell phone, so I had to switch back to the room for a better Wi-Fi.
A modern problem, yes.
Yeah, because my wife also works from home, and we have we kind of keep fighting for the bandwidth whenever we have these calls together. Sorry.
Understood.
Yeah. So, quick introduction. Thank you so much, Bill, for setting this up and great platform as I already see it, with some very distinguished people. I'm Siddharth Shah. I'm based out of Mumbai, India, and I'm currently working with the BDO India LLP. It's a professional services company, and I work in the capacity of the associate director in the data analytics practice. I lead the data analytics practice for BDO.
Can you speak up just a little or put the mic closer to your mouth?
I'm so sorry. Yeah.
That's all right.
So I was saying, I work for BDO India LLP as an associate director, and I lead the data analytics practice for the firm, which involves a lot of business development, sales, pre-sales, and project delivery execution. So I work for clients across different industry sectors in the manufacturing, pharmaceutical, fintechs, NBFCs, and also in the healthcare side. I'm from Mumbai. I'm based out of Mumbai. Been in the States for 3 years between 2010 and 13. I used to be based out of Leviton, Pennsylvania, South Central Jersey. That's about me. And for summers, I kind of try to stay home because it's very warm outside. So that's about it.
Oh, that's wonderful. Well, welcome. It's great to have you. Let's see, is there anyone who hasn't introduced themselves? Cool. Well, welcome everybody. So I'm going to now introduce our Mumbai chapter leader, Nilesh Gopali, who Nilesh and I met actually about a year ago in Washington, D.C., and then again in New Jersey at an event called Select USA. And we've become fast friends. He is one of the nicest, most competent individuals I've had the pleasure of meeting, and is very passionate about both market entry into India, but also helping Indian companies successfully land in the UK and the US and beyond. And so we actually brainstormed on this idea a little bit when we first met, and it's expanded a bit since then. But Nilesh, welcome. Do you want to introduce yourself and maybe beyond that share just a thought or two on why you see the Softland Partners as an important thing to get involved in and why you're involved?
Okay. Thanks, Bill. Thank you. I think it was a splendid meeting you last summer when obviously I was in US for the Select USA. So that's what I do. Let's start with that. What I do in summer is I travel a lot. I usually go to UK. For me, UK is more like a home. I lived and worked in London for 16 years, came back to India 5 years ago, and I go to London every year in summer. And then last year, along with going to UK, I went to US as well. That's where I met Bill. So when I lived in UK, I had my own consultancy, came back to India. I was working with a B2B e-commerce company. And what I realized is that there are a lot of Indian companies set up on doing the setup part for international companies, but nobody talks about strategy. Nobody talks about customer acquisitions, and especially for the new age companies with the emerging technology, there is a big gap. And that's where I realized that international business advisory would work. And when I met Bill, we both realized that there is a need for this kind of a platform, not just in India, obviously in US, in UK, to have that. And I think Bill, you did a splendid job of taking it from just a small idea to where it is right now. And I know that we had chapter in London and obviously everywhere in US. It's splendid. So what I do is I help fintech companies, international fintech companies, in their market entry into India. I do right from initial sort of understanding where they are doing, what they are doing, and will that fit into an Indian market, product market fit, strategies, helping them connect with the people, and making them the first sale happen. I'm officially a business mentor, London Mayor's international program. Obviously, my strong point is India-UK corridor, but I have also, with Bill's help, started focusing on the India-US corridor as well. That's about me. what else I can say is that I'm sorry. Yeah. So when Bill said yes, I'm very, very passionate about actually seeing that these companies, when they come to India with a completely different mindset, with a mindset of a Western thinking, and when they obviously come across and they hit 1.3 billion population with a completely different mindset, that understanding of making them think differently, I'm very passionate about that. And I have written a few articles, books. I'm a regular speaker in quite a few places in London, Amsterdam, US, on the Western thinking and how to implement that in an Indian environment. So I'm very happy when Bill said, why don't we have a chapter in Mumbai? I said, Bill, that's where I want to be. So thanks, Bill, for bringing this to Mumbai. I think this is a great start for us.
Fantastic. Well, thank you, Nilesh, and it was so delightful to have you involved in and really leading the charge in Mumbai. So I'd like to give just a little bit more of an overview on Softland Partners, just so everybody has context. We'll do a follow-up email that'll give you more information as well, but just so you have something here, and then we'll actually pass the baton on to one of our service providers, KPMG, to give us the 6-minute spotlight. And in each of these meetups, while we're virtual, we're going to do 6-minute service provider and a 6-minute partner spotlight. Today we don't have a partner to spotlight, so the good news is we get to use that time. So just to give you a little bit of context for why we started Softland Partners, and it was actually interesting. Right around the time that Nilesh and I met, we were actually doing a fair amount of strategy work as a company on our own business. And one of the things we realized that as we sort of inventoried our current clients, and some of you also probably have this experience, is we realized that actually at that time 100% of our current clients came to us as damaged children, and that sounds like a strange term, but what that means to me anyway is that they came to us after having really bad experiences at market entry. They had already failed at least once, if not multiple times, before they met us. In some cases, they made bad decisions. In other cases, they got, they were working with bad actors who took advantage of them. But there were generally a variety of very preventable reasons why these companies were failing. And so as we looked at that more, we, and talked to peers who were kind of seeing the same thing with their clients, that was really the genesis of this. And so our very, very simple mission is to dramatically improve the success rate of market entry businesses by connecting them to a network of competent, ethical, and professional service providers. And certainly a very important partner to that process are our friends in the trade and investment community, who are working both either with governments or working with industry associations, who are quite often leading delegations and doing a variety of support and consultancy type work to help these market entry companies. So again, our mission is super, super simple, and it's really about just helping improve that success rate for market entry companies by helping them find the best fit partners as they enter new markets. And so, as Nilesh said, this meetup network has grown quite a bit. We just actually started the meetups. This is strange to say. We just started them 2 months ago. Our first one was in New York. We now have 5 going in the US: New York, Boston, Connecticut, LA, and San Francisco. And then internationally, we have 5 going: London, Amsterdam, Mumbai, Moscow, and then Sao Paulo, Brazil. We're adding right now sort of roughly a location a week into the schedule. So our goal is to have 20 by the end of the year, and if we keep on this pace, we'll blow that away. With each one, what we're finding is that the exchange and the connections that are being made are exceptionally useful for the participants. And we hope today you find this to be really useful and continue. Our plan is to do these on a monthly basis and continue that as we can get in person as well. And we've got a variety of things in our roadmap. We already have a market entry, call it a marketplace online, where the service providers on the platform have an online profile and can be searched by market entry companies and identified. We also have a concierge service that helps make those connections. So we do a needs assessment and then helps connect the market entry companies with best fit service providers. We have a private Slack channel that members and partners use to share needs and opportunities. And we'll do a kind of a light version of that today in our meeting. So be prepared if there are needs and opportunities that your clients have we share those. But again, we'll follow up with some more information, but really just while we're together, wanted to share a little bit of information on what we're doing with you. With that, I'd like to turn over the floor, and I'm not sure who is going to be speaking for KPMG. Was it you, Mohit? Were you going to take the lead, or was there somebody else who was going to speak?
You're right, Bill. I'll go with that.
Cool. Well, please, the floor is yours. You've got 6 minutes, and certainly, us learning more about what you're doing, your types of clients, and the various types of services that you support them with would be great.
Excellent. Thanks, Bill. I think my screen is visible to all of us.
It is great. Yeah, and your sound is better as well. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So I am not a big fan of slides being a consultant, but I'll just try to limit ourselves to 3 slides very specifically. Now, what you see on the screen right now is a very standard service offering of a consulting firm, right? Ranging from audit, tax, advisory, and I sit out of this space called government. We do right from the market entry perspective, strategy, JV, partner search, taxations, and so on and so forth. And it goes like a complete end-to-end integrated offering. But what is important for our friends to note here is that, which is any firm can do, is our specialized offering in the space of serving Indian government. Today, KPMG is giving the program support to almost all the Indians' national priority mission, whether you talk about Make in India, Still India, Startup India, Stand Up India, Ease of Doing Business. For example, you all must have heard about Startup India as a program, which is what this team has anchored it right from day one when the action plan was launched. You might have heard about India jumping Ease of Doing Business ranking 67 points. That's again the same team which has anchored for Government of India. Now, having worked with government, now, for example, my colleague Adarsh, who is right now supporting the Maharashtra state government right from day one when the lockdown started. So you can critique us or appreciate us. From the time when the lockdown started, we put the entire country to pause. The entire team has been working with Maharashtra government in managing the very finer aspect. For example, a normal citizen, how it will go out in the market with something called as a pass. So designing that pass mechanism, the process, the online tool. Now you have seen the entire exit strategy of government coming out of lockdown. That's again done by our team. So what helps us while working with the government is to understand that what is government looking at. We are instrumental in designing those policy frameworks, which we call it as industrial policy, in the entire ease of doing business framework, which is called as a approval for filing a business application. So that kind of a work with the government gives us a dual edge in terms of understanding what government needs, rather than we just go in the market and do some Google research. Now, this is a brief one slide. Some of the logos you must have seen. These are quite familiar names, and these names correspond to some of the transactions we have been able to close. With great pride, I can say Kia Motors is a very proud investor we could able to leverage. While at that point in time, we were working with Andhra Pradesh government. Mr. Naidu was the chief minister. So there are interesting journeys we have had over the last so many years. I specialize in this space of investment trade facilitation, likewise others. I've done this for the last almost 15 years, worked with quite a few of us. Interestingly, I found a familiar friend, Tanaz is on the call. I know her for the last so many years. I work with SDI. So working with IPAs, working with economic development agencies has been our forte. while at the same time, a large part of KPMG work in terms of serving the private sector who is trying to understand India or trying to collaborate with India in terms of either a joint venture or a partnership or even just a pure play investment in the Indian market. So I think that's in brief from my side. I would encourage if people have some thoughts, suggestions, so that we can use the remaining 2-3 minutes. What I have left is just to understand each other better. Bill?
Oh, that's great. Thanks, Mohit. So are there questions that anyone has about Mohit's presentation or KPMG in services in India? So maybe I'll ask a question, Mohit. So tell us about thinking about either companies in India looking to internationally expand, or companies looking to enter the Indian market. What does a really good prospect look like for you? What can you describe that type of company that you most favor working with?
So Bill, we look at both the sides of it. So when we are engaged from, let's say, state government, let's say Maharashtra state government, we work for inward investments and we help Indian governments or India as a country to attract those investments. At the same time, we deliver the halal programs. But at the same time, we do collaborate with foreign IPAs, like we have SDI, we have IDA, we have UKTI or DIT now, or even Select USA. So we have worked with quite a few international IPAs or economic development agencies. In that case, the mandate is very reverse. It's about Indian companies going abroad and investing in those regions. Now, what complements us is our vast network of KPMG. We have 160 odd countries present, extensively collaborative ecosystem for us to understand what's happening in India at the same time in Ireland. It's relatively easy for us.
Got it. Yeah, that makes total sense. Good. Any other questions for Mohit?
Yeah, Mohit, Nilesh here. So just a slightly different question from what Bill is asking. Is that what about fintech? I know that there is a lot of interest in the fintechs in UK, US, Canada, to reaching out to India because obviously of the market and huge consumer. Have you had any interaction? Because I know that some of the very big names, billion-dollar valuation companies are trying to get into India. They probably would be looking at companies, consultancies like KPMG. Just your thoughts on that?
Okay, so Nilesh, we look at it from two lenses. One is if you look at the Andhra FinTech Valley, that's been delivered by our team, which is a part of the government because it has the mandate has come from the government. But we do have a very strong and a large practice called financial services anchored by a partner and a team of close to more than 100 consulting staff, but they complement the work with the private sector entities. I'm more than happy to get in touch with that team and then you can see if there's any way we can work together. Nilesh?
Okay, all right, thank you.
That's fantastic. Well, thank you, Mohit. It was wonderful to hear more about what you all do, and certainly I'd encourage anyone who has collaborative opportunity to make sure you're connecting with Mohit and his team. So, but thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Bill.
May I make a comment, Bill?
Oh, please. Yeah,
Sorry.
go ahead.
Yeah. Well, this is not directly related to what Mohit shared about their services, but just what the KPMG team is doing in relation to with the Maharashtra government in relation to the COVID situation. I think it's great work. It's a daunting challenge in front of anyone in India. And just wanted to comment on that it is good work and no one would have ever got anything right in totality. So just wanted to comment that. Thank you.
Yeah, no, fantastic. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Tanaz, really appreciate that. Just to complement that, this is the kind of similar effort we are extending to 12 more Indian states. And at the same time, we are supporting the health ministry in the COVID management. So there is a lot of thread going in for keeping us quite safe. So big hats off to the team who's anchoring it, especially others, Nilesh, who are on the call from the Maharashtra team. I know Maharashtra, it's a tough time, but I think we can safely sail through. So thank you so much, Tanaz. Thanks, Will.
Thank you, Mohit. I really appreciate it. Well, good. So we're going to shift gears just a little bit, and this is I always have to take just a moment to explain needs and opportunities. So far we've been kind of focused on describing ourselves and self-promoting, which is all good, but we're going to shift gears. So, you know, we're in what we call the needs and opportunities section, and so this is not a continuation of self-promotion. So you want to think about now your customers, your clients, your portfolio companies, and what are their needs? What are gaps in their, whether it's their transition into new markets outside of India or entering India? What are the things, resources that they need? That's one area that we welcome good sharing on. And then separate from that, if there are opportunities that you're aware of, whether it's events or other types of opportunities that would be good to share with the group that are around market entry and internationalization and so on, that would be great to share as well. So I'm going to pause and allow folks to start sharing in that regard. So please feel free to share a need or an opportunity.
Hi, Bill.
Yes.
Hi, this is Purvi. I'm not sure how you all did the introductions, but I had trouble joining.
Yeah. Why don't we come to you after we do this section? Is that okay?
Perfect.
Perfect. And are you the admin ID that is in here?
I think that's what it's coming as. Yes.
Okay.
Sorry.
All right. Cool. I will call on you when we get to the through this section.
Thank you. I'm sorry I joined late, but I had trouble getting on.
I understand. Cool. What needs and opportunities? What thoughts? This is the interactive part. Oh, good. Thank you. Get on.
Yeah. So when am I audible now?
Yes.
Can you hear me all?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm more focused on energy side, but maybe it is relevant to other sectors also. So what recently I delivered a webinar also that was more focused to Scottish companies. But whenever the companies who want to do business in India from abroad, see, there are a few things they have to consider. First of all, basically they need to have perseverance. So I mean, they will not get success, at the first attempt. They may not. I mean, they may, but they may not, because especially Indian oil and gas sector is more, dominated by the oil companies, like the national oil companies. They are all subject to audits, and everything is tender driven, and it's a bit difficult market. So you need to have your own time. You need to persevere and try a little bit harder. So second thing which is very important is the paperwork, basically. So since these Indian oil and gas companies are very, very bureaucratic, because they are subject to audit, so any paperwork, if there is any issue, then the officials are subject to audits, and their career is jeopardized. So you need to be very, very sure about your paperwork. Whatever you're submitting should be exactly as per the tender documents. The third thing
So
is,
I just want to be clear on. So this section is about sharing needs or opportunities. It sounds like you're giving a philosophy, which is good, on market entry, but we want to make sure that we have time to share if you have a client that has a need, maybe they need a specific resource or something like that. This is where we kind of do rapid fire sharing of those types of things.
I'm sorry.
Oh, no. We're all, this is all a process we're all learning, right? So it's not a problem at all, but I just wanted to make sure that you knew. But is there you're working with oil and gas companies coming into India. Are there, thinking about your current base of clients that you're working with, are there any that are looking for specific resources or contacts on the ground in India that would help them?
See, Indian actually oil and gas sector, basically Oil India and ONGC, which are these are the public sector oil companies. So, as all of you are aware that the oil prices are at very low, thing right now. But what happens is Indian oil companies are government owned, and many of their projects are likely to continue. So there are few projects which are still ongoing, and these opportunities are available to any of the any companies who are who can bid internationally. So I mean, any company who would like to bid, or these opportunities are available on their websites also, so they can go through it. And if anybody is interested to bid for such opportunities, who is having references to bid or experience to bid for these opportunities, can definitely come. And there are opportunities available, because the Indian oil and gas companies, public sector companies, will go ahead with their projects. I mean, private sector may not go ahead, but the public sector will go ahead.
Okay.
Okay.
Cool.
Right.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Bill, I've got a couple of things to share. One is something that we are aware of, and this is something for everyone to be aware of, that in November, there's an international market entry event in London. I think it's scheduled probably 17th to 19th of November. It's a physical event. Everyone has to attend there. But I think given the COVID situation, and especially what has been announced recently with Google and Facebook telling all their employees that they have to work from till end of this year, the possibility of that event also being available online is very high. I think it would be a good idea for everyone to register, or at least have a look at it to see what it is. I will definitely attend, and I know that Bill, you are also going. So that's a great opportunity to look at some of the UK, British and European companies, and then who are trying to get into India, something of that sort, and vice versa. That's the first thing that I wanted to share. The second is, again, a recent opportunity. I think it happened just a couple of days ago, is that Indian banks owe a lot of, it's the other way around, that the Indian power sector, power energy companies owe a lot of money to the Indian banks. And what they are creating is, with the help of the Indian government, they are classifying that into a bad debt and then moving that into a bad bank, which will be owned by Indian government. Now they are looking for international energy players to come and take a stake in that, or buy that out, or do a turnaround for those ones. So that, I believe, is a very big opportunity for especially oil and gas and energy companies all over the world, because these are good companies which are not able to give the money to the bank just because of what the situation is in the last, probably I would say, because of the oil price drop and the current situation. And government doesn't want it to go down to throwaway prices. So they are creating a bad bank, and then government will give the guarantee if an international player wants to come and have a stake. That, I believe, is just started as an opportunity, something that we have to keep an eye on it for probably for the next 6 months to 1 year, but definitely a good opportunity for a lot of international players in the oil and gas and energy sector.
That's great. Thanks, Nilesh. And just so everybody knows, the name of that event that Nilesh was referring to is called Going Global, and it's the 18th and 19th of November. And yeah, we'll be exhibiting there. Our company will be exhibiting there, and we've also actually organized, or in the middle of organizing right now, with the host company, that there'll be a Softland Partners panel discussion on the first day, on the 18th, and then right after that, we'll have on the show floor, we'll have a meetup for the market entry internationalization community. So all the companies that are there, all the professionals that are there, that are in the market entry space, will get together for a social event and get to know each other better. But we'll have more information on that as we go forward. So yeah, I'm hopeful that we get to do it in person. It'd certainly be a lot more fun. But in any event, any other needs or opportunities that anyone wants to share?
Bill, Vishal over here.
Yeah.
So this coming November, there is a amazing event that will be happening in Ireland. The event is called as Electronomous. Auto sector is a big sector in India, and we have a lot of big OEMs over here, starting with Heroes of the world, TVS, and and who's who. Uh, Also, we have very well imbibed OEM which are feeding into this. Sorry, tier one supplier, tier two suppliers which are feeding into this OEM. So this event is would be something that a lot of European companies, US companies that will be showcasing the next in technologies, basically from the autonomous connected car perspective. There has been a lot of interest from Indian auto sectors, and maybe if since we have a lot of service providers over here, feel free to pass it on to your companies who are interested or looking forward to getting moving ahead into this autonomous connected car space. Equally, we do have a customized and events in the space of ITs as well as biopharma. So I remember there's one event called Bio Ambition. It happens in the March, and these two events, like Electronomous, which I said in the car space, it's one of the events which is a very big when it comes to car as or vehicles as a sector, and the second is Bio Ambition. Happy to circulate or share information on any of this.
That's great. Yeah, I just put the Going Global event into the chat. The link, if you want to, Vishal, if the links are handy for you, if you wouldn't mind sharing the links for the two events you mentioned, that'd be great.
I will do that. And since the event is happening in November, it's companies they can easily look forward to it. I mean, those who are into this space.
That's great. Oh, that's perfect. Thank you. Let's see, and maybe we could go to, was it Purvi, was that the lady who came on a little bit ago and said you hadn't introduced yourself? Would you like to come on? And while you're coming on, the introductions are 30 seconds. So if you would, your name, your organization, and just a short statement about what you do, that'd be great.
Sure. Thank you so much, Bill, and I'm sorry for interrupting your flow. I'm Purvi Chothani. I'm the managing partner of LawQuest, which is a law firm focused on global immigration and Indian employment law. And we've got offices in Florida and New York. And we work with a lot of companies, both at the startup level and at the large company level, on their entry into India or into the United States predominantly. And then we help with human resource needs in about 90 countries.
That's fantastic. One other thing that we shared, Purvi, was what do we enjoy in the summertime? What do you do for fun in the summer?
Oh, I actually do this all through the year in the weekend. I enjoy cooking. I enjoy traveling. So any time of the year is summer for me.
I love it.
Right?
There you go. It's I love the attitude. That's wonderful. Perfect. Well, good. Welcome. I'm glad you're here. So just a couple of things to mention before we close the sort of formal part, and then certainly encourage people to stay on, have additional conversation, make additional connections, please. And as I said at the outset, we want to treat this as much as possible like it's an in-person meetup. So, and I see a lot of people using the chat. That's wonderful. Continue to do that. But we'll have some open conversation as well in just a moment. So two things to mention. One is our next meetup is Monday, June 8th, and we'll send out a sign up for this. It'll be at the same time, 6 p.m. We'll continue to use the sort of virtual platform until we feel comfortable going in person. But the other thing about this, and maybe our biggest encouragement here, is please identify one or two or three people to get together with and have a virtual meeting between now and our next meeting on June 8th. The way we'll be strong as a network, the way we'll actually probably have the effect that we want, both individually and organizationally, is to have more intimate relationships with a few, where we learn about each other, where we build trust and knowledge. It's going to be much more effective if we focus on building a relationship, those types of relationships with a few, versus really superficial relationships with many. And so if we can each pick sort of 1, 2, 3 people to get to know better and to have some good exchange with, then as we go through the months and years here, we'll be able to do much more together and ultimately serve our goal, which of course is helping the market entry companies succeed. So, and when they succeed, ultimately we all succeed. The other just quick encouragement, and again, we're going to be doing these on a monthly basis. We're going to, as a community, grow not only more, but also better from a quality standpoint, is if we bring friends. We can, from a distance, we can continue to market, and we will. But if we each bring 1 or 2 friends to these meetings, we're not only sort of helping that process, but we're also helping assure the quality. And so we would really encourage that. I think we can make sure that the group continues to stay strong and also stays good quality as we bring friends. So there is one other person, before I sort of open the floor, there is one other person I see that I don't believe introduced himself or herself. Dr. Massey, do you want to introduce yourself? And we did a 30-second introduction. So your name, your organization, and then just a short statement on what you do. But do you want to unmute and introduce yourself? Dr. Massey? I'm going to unmute you. Let's see if we can get you. No, I can't unmute you. You got me locked out. So Dr. Massey, if you hear me, we can't hear you. So try unmuting, which should be in your lower left. You'll have a microphone you can unmute. Oh, there you go. We still don't hear you, but your microphone is unmuted. That's a good thing. Well, why don't we just open up the floor if Dr. Massey can figure out the tech, then happy to include him or her. But other thoughts, questions? I know people will have to leave as we go here. We totally understand and respect that. But certainly, again, like any networking event, please feel free to chime in with any thoughts or connect with individuals. Share anything, please.
Bill, I got a couple of things. First is, I think this forum is to be treated both as a market entry into India and vice versa. If there are any opportunities for Indian companies to go to US, UK, Europe, yes, we should definitely speak about it as well. I think this session today was more skewed towards international companies for their market entry into India. So I would like to sort of clarify that it is both India into US as well, US, UK, Europe. That is first thing. Second, is it okay for everyone, or I would say the other way around, is there any issues if we move this from Monday to Tuesdays, same time every month? Because I know for sure that
attend Tuesday. I can't do Tuesday.
Okay. So we'll have to figure it out. Probably next month should be fine.
Group, so.
No, definitely. We will accommodate, because I won't be able to do Mondays in next couple of months because we have a British Embassy event at the same time as now. Obviously, because of the lockdown, we don't have it, but let's figure it out. So next Monday.
Are you talking about the BBG?
Yeah, BBG.
What about Wednesday?
Wednesday is fine.
How does that work, Nilesh?
Yeah, Wednesday is fine for me as well.
All right, so we should go to June 10th. Will be the next one.
I would prefer that.
Okay, we will change.
Well, I'll just check if June 10th is any holidays or anything.
Okay.
I think if not, then June 10th should be fine. Is it time 6 to 7 good, or you want that to be slightly skewed, 6:30 to 7:30, something of that sort? I think for me 6 is good. 6 to 7 is good. Anybody having any issues on that?
6 to 7 is good for me.
The one thing I've learned in these, Nilesh, is we always want to ask does anyone have an issue? Usually it's quiet. If you say, Yeah, we're going to plan it for this time. Is there a problem? And then, but it's so hard because we're not in the same room together. We have to, how we ask these questions becomes interesting. But it, yeah, I always ask it the wrong way and then it's totally quiet.
Okay. Suggestion, can we try to set it up on the weekend? Because weekdays, I'm not sure about others, but just after the lockdown, there's always been an overstretch of working hours and mostly extends beyond 7:30. So is it just kind of putting the idea across it, if Saturdays could work out.
What does everybody think about the weekend?
Yeah. So
not this time of the weekend, if possible, please. If it's a weekend, I'd prefer earlier, not at this time.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
during the
absolutely.
lockdown, it's fine, but I mean, after the lockdown, this won't suit.
Right.
And I would
So
prefer
why don't
Saturday
we go on? Why don't we go on for the next Wednesday, and then we go along, keep asking how it is, and if Wednesday suits for everyone, that's brilliant. If not, then we can probably reshuffle it, because every month things are changing, especially here in Mumbai. I know for sure that it will be more of a lockdown till end of June, and even these kind of events that I'm talking about, it will be very. There's a possibility that they might go online. So is that something? Let me ask in a Bill styles. Is there any problem if we say that we'll go for 10th of June, and then as we go along, we keep revisiting this to see if we can have maximum number of participation. So let me know if there is any issue or problems there.
This makes no sense.
I think you have agreement, Nilesh. Go with it.
Brilliant. Yeah. So, so yeah. Okay, that's good.
Cool.
Anything else?
Any other topics that anyone wanted to bring up or ask for help with? I see that Siddhar said that he has some clients that, or I'm sorry, it's Grav who said he has some clients who are looking to enter the U.S. and have some credit, credit needs. So Jenny, you may want to connect.
Okay, that's good.
Any other comments, thoughts? Well, certainly we don't want to keep you, and we certainly respect your time. So, feel free, and with each of these meetings, you will get more comfortable with each other and the process and all that. But this is your forum, and we want to make sure that you feel ownership in this. So it is all we care about is helping you get connected with each other to cause more and better service for market entry and market exit companies. So certainly anything we can do to help facilitate those relationships, we certainly want to do. So.
Yeah, and please feel free to connect me on LinkedIn. I would like to connect with each of you if possible before 10th of June. And then keep doing with the others who join as well. So yeah, so look out for me. I will look out for you on LinkedIn. Let's connect and then have a discussion before 10th of June, if possible.
Cool. And I also will just mention too, in our follow-up note, which you'll get in the next 24 hours, we'll before the event, we shared a list of the registered participants. We'll actually share on the Slack channel a list of the registrants and email addresses. So we'll encourage you to get involved in a few different ways. But certainly we love that you're here today, and certainly look forward to your future involvement as well. So let us know how we can improve it. But if no one else has another topic or anything else they want to mention, I see lots of great comments on the chat, and again, we really appreciate you all being on. So let's stay in touch and please holler, if we can help in any way.
Thank you.
Thanks, Bill.
All right.
Thank you for
Thanks, guys.
Thanks.
Thank
Enjoy
you.
your evening.
Bye-bye.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Stay safe. Stay safe.
You too.
Thank you, Bill.
Thank you.